Mike Garafolo, NFL Network, discussing Shedeur. Private workout with the Giants. I think we all owe Keefe an apology on some level.
Finally.
I was sitting here going, Shedeur's dropping. He's falling. He's going to the Saints at night. He's going to the Steelers at 21.
Schefter already said Hunter's going 2 and Carter's going 3. Okay, so it's over.
He's not going in the top 3, and yet, Keefe, the door is ajar.
Hell yeah.
Wide
open.
The odds markets would still favor Hunter going 2 and Carter going 3, but that does not mean the dream is dead. Shedeur, private workout with the Giants. I have theories on what's going on, but I'm curious your thoughts on this workout.
Are you saying shenanigans? No, I'm still standing by.
No, I'm not even saying shenanigans. I think something's up with the change of course, if you
Better chance 3 quarterbacks go in the top 3 than 1 quarterback goes in the top 3. My final bet would be 2 quarterbacks still go in the top 3. Right?
But it skews towards 3 over
More
1.
likely 3 than 1.
So I would still disagree with that, but whatever. Fine.
That's fine. People go crazy for quarterbacks. They do every single year. There's a million examples of it, and it's not set in stone. We still have 9 sleeps until the NFL draft, so things can change. And you can't tell me that Kenny Pickett and Joe Flacco in Cleveland makes them think they're good at quarterback, and that Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston makes the Giants feel like they're all set at quarterback. They might start Russell Wilson for a year, but we just saw a team last year in the Atlanta Falcons get Kirk Cousins, who at that time was viewed a lot better than any of these guys that just signed with these 2 teams, and they still drafted Penix in the first round. And that wasn't even the second best quarterback in the draft. That was, what, the 5th? Or at least based on the – or 4th?
Penix was 4. Yeah. Nix was – No, 6. McCarthy was 5. Nix was 6.
All right, so they didn't even get like a top 3 guy, whereas these teams have a chance to get number 2. And that was, I guess, the question. Like, is Sanders for sure the number 2 quarterback over Dart? I feel like teams would be overthinking it if they leapfrog Dart.
Me too.
Sanders, though, I would not shock me at all if it ends up balancing out and up, down, all around ends up being the 3rd pick in the draft.
So Pelissero and Rap Sheet had the initial report on this Shedeur workout, and you can jump in on it, 617-779-7937. Now we'll talk about the potential fallout for the Patriots. We do have to update Bill and Jordan. There's an update there.
Holy smokes.
Which I want to get to here momentarily. We'll tear off the NBA playoff teams at 11:30. We have another pair of Red Sox tickets to give away on a 2 for Tuesday at 11:30. 2 more pairs after that, 12:30, 1:30. It'll continue on WEEI afternoons here on a 2 for Tuesday. Tommy Curran, high noon. Kiefer Madness, 12:45. Vrabel live at 1.
Oh, my God. Too much stuff.
I mean, honestly, we can just go home. I feel like the show's just running itself.
That's it.
At this point in time. And we'll get to your phone calls here in a moment. Pelissero said the intrigue at 3. The Giants plan to work out former Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders privately on Thursday. Sources tell Pelissero and Rap Sheet. New York has done a lot of work on Sanders since the fall. Now one more look a week before the draft. Now, Mike Tannenbaum had a theory on this.
All right.
He tweeted out today on a similar Schefter report, quote tweeting it, said when this happens so late in the process, either there's a big disagreement in the building, more on that in a moment, or they're reacting to new information. Okay, so I read that tweet from Tannenbaum, and I was reminded of something that Burt Breer reported the other day.
All right.
He said that more than one person has told Breer that if Shedeur Sanders goes in the first round, it's because an owner got involved. So
the plot thickens.
So either the Maras are driving this, and they're like, we're taking the quarterback, you dummies. I don't care that you brought in Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. We're taking the quarterback because, no offense, Brian Daboll, you're probably not going to be here after this year. We got to think beyond this year. You too, Joe Shane. So ownership is getting involved, which I think is always the case with these quarterbacks. I think it was the case last year with the Patriots drafting Drake May. I give the credit to the Crafts for drafting May. I don't give any credit to Elliott Wolf. So I think owners typically get involved on this level of pick.
Yeah, that position.
Exactly, at quarterback. My other sidebar thought, I wonder if the Giants are trying to get a team like New Orleans to panic and trade up, which would still be a good thing for the Patriots. Like, no matter what, there's not a bad thing. Either the Giants are trying to or having a reevaluation on whether or not they're going to take Sanders at 3, or they're trying to drum up interest in the 3rd pick for a quarterback-hungry team. Whether that is the Raiders thinking long-term beyond Geno, whether that is the Jets thinking long-term beyond Fields, whether that's the Saints at 9, the Steelers at 21, whoever it is, they're trying to drum up interest in that pick to get a team to move up and take a quarterback, which would be great news for the Pats to get Carter to drop. It's something like that.
Also, the Giants have had enough time to also gauge the reaction of the Wilson and Winston signings. And again, the GM, the head coach, they're probably like, all right, this is what our football team's going to be, and this is who we can get. We can get Abdul Carter. We can go from there. But the owner says, wait a minute. Like, we have a chance to get Shedeur Sanders. Like, we have a chance to get a star quarterback in the making. And again, could be a bust. Right? Whatever. Like, that's part of the beauty of the draft. Also, we had a caller yesterday, I think it was yesterday, throw out the idea. There's also a chance where both New York teams need a quarterback, and the Giants could pass up on Sanders or Dart, and then the Jets take him.
And now Shedeur rules New York.
Right. I mean, it's outlandish because the Jets quarterbacks always stink. They don't know how to develop them, and it's a cursed franchise for the quarterback. However,
but winning the back pages in New York is a thing. Whether it should be or not, we can debate, but it is.
Yeah.
And so, how bad of a look is that for the Giants when the other team in town gets the quarterback and now he's the toast of the town? If that scenario played out, I think that's a fear of the Giants. How big a one, I don't know. But I think somewhere on the list, that's always a fear. You don't want the Jets to get a guy and then have it thrown back in your face. And vice versa. The Jets don't want that either.
This doesn't really explain the late workout, but you also wonder when the Giants ended the season and they had the third pick and they saw the two teams ahead of them, I wonder if they assumed, well, two quarterbacks will be gone. The Titans need one. The Browns need one. So do we really want to take the third quarterback in a draft that might only have one good one, or do we want to take the best player available? But now as time has gone on, more and more smoke around the fact that the Browns are willing to pass up on one of the quarterbacks. Just throwing that out there, too. Maybe they're like, oh, we can still get the second-best quarterback without even moving up.
So, to me, it's good timing. We're going to do Hate It or Love It, a prospect every day at 11:45. Travis Hunter yesterday, spoiler alert, final results are not in. You can still vote at Jones and Keefe. Twitter and Instagram, people love
it.
The Travis Hunter pick. Should he be there at 4?
As they should.
We'll get to Abdul Carter coming up at 4, but this is a scenario you need to play out. The Giants take Shedeur at 3, or they drum up interest in the third pick. The Saints move up and take Shedeur at 3, and now Abdul Carter is in your lap at pick number 4.
As of today, where do you think Shedeur gets picked? What number?
9.
Okay, you're sticking with 9.
Yeah.
So top 10. Not bad.
Top
Nothing
10
to sneeze at.
And I like him. And I think teams that need quarterbacks like Cleveland and the Giants, you should be taking Shedeur. I like him enough where you need a quarterback. You should do that.
See, that's where if I'm the Steelers at that point, it's really hard to trade up to 4. You have to sacrifice a ton, and you have to really, really believe in the guy. But you can't just let the Saints just wait till 9. Like that, they need to move up. This wouldn't affect the Patriots, but they need to move up to like 8 and snipe them.
And I'm not saying he's, Mahomes, but in that Mahomes draft, both the Chiefs and Texans moved way up for Mahomes and Watson, which, worked out while Watson was in Texas.
For a bit.
Or in Houston, rather. So you can move from the 20s into like 8, 9, or 8 to leapfrog the Saints. You could do that. I don't think you're moving to 3.
Nope.
But you could go 21 to 8 and give up future picks and make that work.
Yep.
We'll get to Bill and Jordan in a moment. Very, very interesting emails from Jordan.
Jeepers.
That I want to get to.
You think that's like a standard Gmail, or do you think she's got something else, like a business one?
Good question. Well, she might have a business one. The question is it a
Belichick Enterprises?
Is it a real business? Would be the question. But we'll get to that coming up. 617-779-7937. Chris is in New Bedford. What's up, Chris?
Hey, guys. This is a point you guys were just talking about, like the idea of 3 quarterbacks going first 3. Because, Browns ultimately, what they have, Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett as a quarterback, but that for the future. Even one of these guys is a risk of the quarterback would be better than that. So, let's say Sanders, too. Now, a little run on the quarterback. Giants get all panicked. Boom, Jackson Dart and Patriots.
And then you get your pick of the litter at 4.
This guy gets it. This guy gets it.
In that scenario, which I don't see happening.
Yeah,
but
it's happening.
In that scenario, you would take
Travis Hunter.
I would take Carter.
There you go.
But I'd be happy with either one.
Same.
The thing with the Browns that I still wouldn't rule out, and I was pretty in on that Flacco signing because he finished so well in Cleveland the other year. Keith pointed out he hasn't played more than 10 games in a year, or started more than 10 anyway, since 2017.
Played, since 2017.
Okay, so that had me that had me out on Flacco.
Yeah,
I think Kirk Cousins to the Browns is still looming over everything, so they may have a backup plan.
But we saw how that worked out.
No, I'm not saying it's a good plan. I'm just saying in terms of them drafting a quarterback, I think that's still a pivot.
So if I was the Browns or Giants, I would not draft a quarterback only if I was really not sold on Sanders or Dart, and not because I'm sold on the guys that I currently have. That's where you and I differ. You're of the mindset if you don't have a quarterback, grab a quarterback, keep drafting them, keep drafting them.
I mean,
keep drafting
if you
them.
like them,
I think year to year is different.
Well, I agree.
Okay.
I wouldn't take Jackson Dart 2 or 3 personally.
Right.
But I would take Shedeur there if I needed a quarterback. But that's because I like Shedeur. I don't like Dart.
Sure, that's what I'm saying.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
I would have taken Richardson where he went. Shows what I know. Our buddy Coach is in New Hampshire. What's
Could
up,
be a bounce
Coach?
back here for Richardson. Could be. Hey, Coach.
Yeah, guys, my jaw is still dropped about the TikTok video that dropped yesterday with Jordan, or is it Wonder Woman? Because that's the outfit she had on the practice field. I just have to ask you guys, you know the Patriots, you cover them for years. If you saw that at a Patriots practice with Jordan walking up to Bill and mingling with the other assistants and looking like a freak show, would that be a huge story? And why isn't it at UNC?
Okay, let me
It
tell
would
you.
be. Oh, I was going to ask Coach if he would ever allow that with his lady.
I'm sorry.
Come on, Jones.
You know what, Coach? If you could call back quick trigger.
Like on the high school fields, Coach ever has his girl walking up and down the sideline?
If you could call back Coach,
Yeah.
shame on me. Keith is right.
I just
Keith had
wanna
a
know.
follow-up. If you're watching on twitch.tv/BostonWE.
No, it is wild. And the reason why it's well, there's several reasons why it's wild. You don't see it. But the other thing would be Bill specifically always
Thank
preached no distractions.
I was just gonna say
Football
this.
is life.
Bill,
This.
or
Do your
Coach-
job. Do your job.
Coach, wrong question.
Yeah.
What would Bill say
Right.
if another coach had this going on?
Well, first of all, they wouldn't allow it.
No. Not at his practice. Meaning, like, Bill's watching another coach at
Oh.
any level of football
Yeah.
for 20 years here in New England. What would he say
Right.
if they were letting their 24-year-old, 25-year-old girlfriend
Don't do this.
strut up and down the field in the middle of practice? Bill would,
It turns out he'd be real jealous.
well, I guess.
Yeah.
But we were led to believe Bill would have mocked it,
Yeah.
chastised it, made fun of it. And it turns out he's just a big, giant hypocrite when it comes to this.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
parading around in the middle of practice.
Wild.
In the middle of practice?
Yeah, firing off emails.
Not standing on the sideline, walking up and down the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Okay, the latest from, I read it aggregated by Florio. This started at The Athletic. Matt Baker.
Okay.
So Bill went to a public university, the University of North Carolina, and Florio makes the point, maybe he should have gone to a private one because he's finding out
Yeah, it's open season.
at a public university, all your emails
I didn't know
are
this.
public record, can be requested and things like this.
Oh, boy.
And so The Athletic has obtained emails
I mean, hell, emails cost Gruden his job.
that Jordan Hudson was sending. So he writes, first of all, her email signature identifies her as the chief operating officer, the COO of Belichick Productions.
That's a thing?
Belichick found no business.
Belichick Productions?
I'm sorry, Baker found no business registered in that name. Belichick Productions.
That's a fake signature. Do you have a signature on your email?
I think my signature right now is my name and my phone number. I don't think it even has anything EEI in there related.
I think the work one I have, like they showed like a template for everybody.
Yeah,
so that
yeah.
looks pretty professional.
Yeah.
My regular one though, it just
Yeah.
kind of you just get the email.
So it helps explain her role in, for example, negotiating with NFL films.
Wait, what's it called again? This might be my fantasy team name. Belichick Productions?
Yeah.
Okay.
The COO of Belichick Productions. Okay. We have more emails here. She and Belichick are very sensitive about the criticism of Belichick on the UNC football page. Okay.
What's the UNC football page? What does that mean?
Does that mean? Yeah. What does that mean? Like
Like on Facebook?
well,
Then get off of Facebook.
perhaps does it mean?
What do you mean? What would the UNC football page be?
I don't
on
know.
the internet?
This is what it says.
Or is it part of Belichick Productions?
This is what it says.
Okay.
She writes, is there anyone monitoring the UNC football page? Probably does mean Facebook. For
Facebook.
slanderous commentary
Or they need a moderator.
and subsequently deleting/blocking users that are harassing BB. That's how she refers to him. BB in the comments. She asked on February 13th.
She's like, I don't have time to be I'm at practice.
This is what she was hoping for a good Valentine's Day. She sent this on February 13th.
I
She's
think
like,
you-
I gotta.
Because anybody in their mid-20s can handle criticism online.
That's true.
I think worrying about what people are saying in the Facebook UNC football page comments is a good use of your time.
I think the date is interesting here. This is the day before Valentine's Day. She's trying to make she's trying to get BB all buttered up and nice and happy.
Yep.
The day before Valentine's Day. The next day, Belichick wrote this. This is on Valentine's Day.
So Bill wrote this?
Yes.
On the UNC page? Oh, no, in an email.
In an email.
Yeah.
Because his emails are public.
Right.
I cannot believe UNC would support my being called a predator.
My being called?
Florio adds the Chapel Hill honeymoon ended in roughly 2 months. So UNC fans are now referring to Bill as a predator.
Well, not all fans.
Some.
Just some.
And
the
Bill-
vocal minority, which is who gets you. They're the ones who get you. Not everybody feels this way, Bill, but there are people apparently who do. And don't read some of the positive ones.
Yeah.
That's what I always tell myself. Read a couple positive ones.
I mean, again, this is UNC. He's not even at like Alabama.
Oh, God, no.
You know?
No. This is a basketball school.
Yeah.
You're a
he's not
basketball school.
Ohio State.
Like, when's Jerry Stackhouse night? I don't really care about the football team.
So UNC fans, some of them, are calling Bill a predator. He's not happy about it. Jordan, the COO of fake Belichick Productions,
Dude, that's hilarious.
is upset they're not deleting things. She's also upset about how Steve Belichick is viewed down there.
Oh, no. What are they saying about Steve?
Florio says she
Hopefully
asked
not a predator.
the school's media team to display greater sensitivity to the inherent nepotism associated with Belichick's decision to hire his own son, Steve, to work as school's defensive coordinator. Bill probably got sensitive to that criticism over the years up here as well.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, well-deserved. She writes, this is Steve's potential future stepmom. She writes,
He's older than by like 16 years.
though Steve Belichick is in fact Bill's son. She calls him Bill this time, not BB.
Yeah.
He should be depicted and represented as his own established, credible entity, as opposed to an extension of Bill. This was on December 22nd.
Sure.
It can be easily misinterpreted that Steve is simply benefiting from nepotism, but that is not the case.
No, hell no.
Steve was fortunate to have learned defensive football strategy from the quote-unquote greatest defensive mind of all time.
Well, she's not wrong.
I like that she just didn't say football mind, because she's like, he's not that great at
No,
offense.
defensive mind.
Just
He did have
defensive.
Brady.
He has earned his position due to his performance and output.
There you go.
So Jordan going to bat for Steve.
Nice.
Going to bat for Bill/BB. She's the COO of fake Belichick
This
Productions.
is what you know what Belichick Productions is? Defending the Belichicks. That's all it is.
I mean,
That's good stuff.
you imagine the eye rolls you get from Jordan every time there's some administrator or some whatever, somebody in the football office or something has to deal with her
Yeah.
nagging emails.
Although
every day.
I'll tell you, how I keep like an unofficial WAG power rankings.
you do.
And like Doug Christie's wife was really high because she would never even like leave a site. Miko Grimes.
Yeah.
Remember Brent Grimes?
I sure do.
She was.
So is she in that? She's in the ride or die category?
I mean, all she's doing is defending him and writing these emails and like trying to like she's defending the kid.
You know what? Good point.
That's kind of next level.
Good point.
Seems unnecessary, but she got to spend her time somehow, I guess. I mean, she can't even let him out of his site for practice. She's going to practice, walking up and down the field. I mean, the stuff those players must be saying, I can only imagine.
That's unbelievable, though.
Yeah.
He's the greatest defensive mind. Steve was fortunate to learn from the greatest defensive mind.
He got that job on merit.
Let's put him in the proper context.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, let's delete some of these negative comments about BB.
That'll fix everything.
Bill doesn't want to be called a predator. I mean, fair.
Well,
Predator is probably
who
not the
amongst us
word,
is?
but
No,
I
he's
mean,
not well,
I
don't know what the definition is. I have to look that up.
he's something. I don't
Yeah.
know if predator is the word, but he's something. So there you go. That's all the latest with Jordan and BB, the COO of Belichick Productions and the greatest defensive mind. I'm happy she pointed that out. Not the greatest mind, the greatest defensive mind in the history of the sport. That's the qualifier Jordan put on it.
Predator is an animal that naturally preys on others. So I don't think that applies. I don't think so.
Just on Valentine's Day.